I'm Dan Peveler.
Nolan Johnson.
And we're going to talk to you about serving God. I've got some very organized notes here. And yes, I do have the most faded crew neck in the Corps, I think. And so, serving God, let's get into it. First general idea is that God doesn't really need us. In Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 through 9, Paul says, and I wrote it down from Google, but I like the way my Bible says it better. For it is by grace that you have been saved through faith. And this is not from yourselves. It is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. It's nothing we've done. This isn't something where we're just climbing our ladder up to heaven. This is everything God has done. We're not serving to earn God. We're serving because God gave himself to us. And so that leads me to my second verse. John 15:5. Jesus says to his disciples, I am the vine and you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. But apart from me, you can do nothing. So let's step back and just visualize this image. Think of a vine with branches coming off of it. You see the branches sitting there just, come on Jesus, trying to get some fruit out of them. No, they're just sitting there attached to the vine, doing what they do, but with holding on to the vine, and fruit comes as a result. And if they don't hold on to the vine, they're just dead on the side, picked up and thrown into the fire. That's the rest of the verse. But this fruit comes naturally when we hang on to Jesus and let him speak his life through us. Let's get into what does serving God even look like? That's pretty much what it looks like. But if you didn't believe me, 1 Corinthians 10:31 says, so whatever you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. Just everything you do, everything in your life, you don't need to change your whole life and go move to a crazy place to be a missionary. You can if that's what God's calling you to do, but God has you right here, right now. Right now you can be serving God by just doing it all for the glory of God. And the last verse that I have is works come from faith. So James 2:18 says, show me your faith without deeds, and I will show you my faith by my deeds. This just gets into the whole, you can't have one without the other. You don't have a grapevine without grapes. If you have this genuine faith with Jesus, then you're going to have works to show for it. It's just the way it goes. Because Jesus doesn't call us to be just lukewarm Christians. Jesus calls us to give everything we have. And that's where Nolan's going to talk some more about it.
Absolutely. When Dan was talking about this, a few verses came to mind. The first one is Revelation 3:15, in a letter to the church of Laodicea. And it says, I know your deeds, that you are neither cold nor hot. I wish you were either one or the other. So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I am about to spit you out of my mouth. You say I am rich and have acquired wealth and do not need a thing, but you do not realize that you are wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. The second verse I thought of was in 1 John, and it says, the man who says I know him, but does not do what he commands is a liar, and the truth is not in him. But if anyone obeys his words, God's love is truly made complete in him. And the point I'm trying to get at here is that when we serve God, we have to be all in. Just listening to the adjectives that the letter in Revelation uses to describe the lukewarm believer, that's tough. And the sad thing is, that is a lot of us. Another verse I thought of, or there's actually a few. We have in Luke 18 and Luke 19 the stories of the rich ruler and Zacchaeus, the tax collector, which is a very stark comparison of what it means to be lukewarm and what it means to be all in. In the story of the rich ruler, we have this young kid he's super wealthy, and he doesn't have to come to Jesus, but he comes anyway, and he says, good teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life? And God says, you know the commandments, follow the commandments. And the kid says, I have kept all of these since I was a boy. And I just want to stop there. And if this is you, if you have just followed the commandments, listen to what Jesus says is also required of you. When Jesus heard this, he said to him, you still lack one thing. Sell everything you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come follow me. And when the kid heard this, he became very sad because he was a man of great wealth. Now in Luke 19, we have the story of Zacchaeus the tax collector, which is the story that we should strive to be in. We should strive to be Zacchaeus and not the rich ruler. It goes like this. Zacchaeus was a short man, and Jesus was walking by his town and he wanted to see him, so he climbed a tree. And when Jesus was walking by, he said, hey Zacchaeus, get down from the tree. What are you doing up there? I'm dining at your house tonight. And Zacchaeus was ecstatic. And so as they dined, Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, Lord, look, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor. And if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount. And so what I want to ask you today is, who are you? Are you the rich man who is just following the commandments but is not taking that extra step to be all in? Are you what Revelation describes as somebody who is naked and just not all there? Or are you Zacchaeus? And are you somebody who is just ecstatic to be all in all the time? And the last thing I want to leave you with is just remember that in Matthew and in Luke, it's Jesus, when he's talking to his disciples, he says, you need to take up your cross every day and follow me. So as you go on with your week, I just encourage you to remember to be like Zacchaeus and take up that cross every day and do the will of God. God bless.
Amen. Thank you.